Hello, beautiful people. How are you today? Isn't it funny that we wake up some mornings feeling absolutely incredible, full of energy, bouncing out of bed, flying on top of the world. And then other mornings we wake up and we feel confused. We feel paranoid. We wonder why we feel so bad. Did something happen that we don't know about, which made us feel this way? And you feel that on the sacred pause. You can see that on different days, different people are in a completely different world, in a different mood. I used to have a relationship with someone on the other side of the world. Not ideal. And I remember I used to talk to them, and it was my morning, it was their evening, or it was their evening and it was my morning. And we never could hit the same spot. We could never hit that wavelength, because even throughout the day, you're like a pendulum. Your spirit changes from the morning to the lunchtime to the evening. And I'll be totally honest with you, today I'm on one of those days where everything just feels like treacle. I'm struggling to get my head around stuff. My wife will say something and I'm immediately triggered. I'm in one of those days when you just ponder everything, everything in life. You think, this just doesn't seem to fit. This doesn't feel right. It feels like I'm trying to put square pegs in round holes. And I think the difference between me now, 2020, and me 2012 or 2011 is that now I've learned that in these circumstances it's okay. We have to accept sometimes that we're not in a perfect mood. It might be our astrological map is having a major impact. It might be that we're having an upgrade. It might be a planet moving into retrograde. It might be close to new moon time or full moon time. But the key during periods like this, when we feel pretty rubbish, is to not get even deeper into the mire, is to not fight against it, and to just accept that on these days we do feel rubbish. And something like this shouldn't be a deterrent from holding hands with spirit. It shouldn't be something which puts us off life. You can imagine if people have incredibly bad days and they're in a depressed mood already, these are the kind of days when they might try and take their lives. And that is just unimaginable and such a shame and such a waste of the beauty. Because within that pain there is great beauty. Today I've had a few things going on through my head, about my relationship, about the way the kids are with me sometimes. Sometimes they're fantastic, they're the absolute biggest joy of my life, but other days they can be very challenging. They don't sleep, they're a little bit naughty, or maybe they're having a day where they just don't want daddy at all. And, that can wrestle a little bit with your ego. It's a day when I've also thought about money. It's something that I don't really care about money. I mean, I send it love, but I'm certainly not someone who is dictated to by money, by jobs, by material things. But COVID-19 has had quite a big impact on a lot of our bank accounts and a lot of our monthly income. And for me, it's probably cut mine by a good 60 or 70%. And of course, every now and again, you have to look at the numbers and you start to go, wow, this is interesting. I've never been in this position before. But, we're here to be tested right now. And, August 2020 is a difficult month. I think September and October are probably going to be even more difficult. And we're going to hit a peak in November. It doesn't mean that all the way there it's going to be hell at all. All it means is we have to sit with this energy. We have to watch it. We have to meditate. We have to go to that place as we enter a time of Pisces where we think of life as water. We don't think of it as being solid. We don't think of it as being something material. And if we think of it as water, you know that things can change very easily, very quickly, for good or for bad. But ultimately, it's the way we look at the world. A lot of people say you can't change the past, it's already done, water under the bridge. But the truth is you can change the way you look at the past. And if you look at the past in a positive way, if you look at that wake of the boat as being something which has got you to where you are right now, if you look at it as an opportunity to learn, if you look at it as something beautiful, then it will stay beautiful in your memory. Even if it wasn't so beautiful when you lived it, it's still beautiful right now. And if you're finding the present difficult, which generally I don't, but today I really am struggling with being in the present, you've just got to learn to accept. You've got to accept what's going on right now. And sometimes things don't go perfectly. Sometimes things don't feel great. Sometimes after a real high, you can really sense of low because you can't stay in that high all the time. But I think this is an opportunity and a moment when we really do have to meditate and to get into that space which is out of any human time, out of that chrono world, and into a world of love, into a world of peace, into a world of timelessness, a sacred space, because that is even beyond the present. And it's a place where a lot of the things that we think really matter in life don't matter at all. And if you get in that place, then what you can do is start to create and manifest a great future present. A place outside conditional love and into the unconditional, which as a tensor when I was learning languages I used to hate, but as a phrase in life I think is beautiful, because unconditional means limitless. It means galactic, it means immeasurable. It's the sweet spot of life, and the place where on days like today where you might be finding it hard, suddenly you can get this beautiful perspective where you can free yourself from that illusion of good and bad days. Because if you start saying it's a bad day, you're labeling time. This often makes us nostalgic of the past. It makes us want to be in a moment that's already gone. Or we can start to cling on to the future, which again takes us out of that present time. And it almost puts pressure on the future and makes us worry about that not happening. So it's important in that state of meditation, or even in that sacred space of everydayness, of timelessness, just to remember that there is only a here and there's only a now. And when we're in that place, when we're in that space, we can let life be. We give ourselves a break. We can accept. And we see that there is no good and there is no bad. Yes, it might be that everything on this day seems to go wrong, or we don't seem to be able to put that nice hat on which makes us feel good, or can at least help us transform this negativity into a more positive frame of mind. But if you can just take that step back, go into that eagle perspective, look from that cosmic view, you can almost start to laugh and go, well, I'm having a bad day. Why is everything going wrong? Why am I always feeling so rubbish? And you can go, hold on, I'm going to detach myself from this feeling. Have a bit of a cosmic giggle, as Ram Dass calls it, and kind of make a bit of a joke of your own suffering. Well, is life really so bad, you know? And if you can see the humour of your predicament, if you can get into that space that allows you to see the space between you and your humanity, between you and your humanness, between you and your serpent mind, if you could see the issues between you and the people who have perhaps been upsetting you, or the problem with the job, or the bill that needs to be paid, and just go, really? You know, when God made this universe, were bills that important? Was having a good relationship with our boss so important? The fact is that you invented your boss and you invented yourself to create this world, to learn things. It's almost like having a laugh at your higher self and going, come on, higher Peter, really? Did you have to do this to me today? Did you have to make me feel like this? Oh, go on then. Well done, you got me. You got me this time. Thank you. And suddenly you enter a very light space after being in that really heavy energy of, oh, why does everything feel so shit today? Suddenly you're like, actually, I'm a balloon and I'm just letting myself go and I'm flying towards the sky and everything's okay. I feel light. It doesn't really matter. It really doesn't matter, does it? And when you get to that space, you feel better already. Well, wishing you a wonderful day. I hope you're feeling lighter than I was feeling before. I certainly feel a lot lighter now. Thank you for listening to me. Love and peace. Peter. Namaste.